It's Thursday, allegedly. It's 8 p.m. It's not really, it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday. And it's the big Metal Detecting Podcast, not live.
Welcome to the Big Metal Detecting Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Big Metal Detecting Podcast. And it's Boxing Day, so Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you all had a fantastic day yesterday, ate loads of food, drank loads of beer, and had lots of fun and got lots of fantastic prizes. It's actually Tuesday night, and the show is pre-recorded because I'll be currently partaking in much of the same. So here we are. This is the 2019 end of year review of metal detecting in the UK, and we're joined tonight by two special guests, Scotty B of North of Time Metal Detecting and our good friend Mr. Addicted to Bleeps, Kris Rodgers. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, mate.
Good evening.
How are you both?
Yeah, good. Oh, it's interesting that you called presents prizes. Did you hear that, Scotty?
I
Yeah, I
always
did,
do it.
yes.
Was that on purpose?
I always do that. Everyone gives me grief for that. I don't ever call a present a present. I always call it a prize.
A prize?
Prize, win one every time.
It's a
Yeah.
prize for being good, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have any then, Dave.
I'll get nothing. I'll get nothing at all. To be honest,
Dave, you have to go off mute, haven't you?
Pardon? Oh,
You have to go off mute.
Yes, you're off mute. Don't worry. I'm way ahead. I'm a professional now, allegedly. I'm having a bit of a bad one, to be honest, chaps. Mrs. Sadler was, her boss announced on Friday that he was winding up the company on the 31st, so she'd been given 3 months' notice and basically out on her ear. So
I've had that.
I don't want any Christmas prizes this year. I've just come back from one of our yearly little things, traditions, and that's Dunham Massey, which is a big hall near Altrincham in the UK. And there's a Christmas light walk. It's beautifully dressed of Christmas lights. Scott's seen a few of the images that I put on Facebook. Giant reindeers. Beautiful. This year was nowhere near as good as last year. So trying to get the Christmas feeling. I've got to go and work for a shift tomorrow. But other than that, it's Christmas. So without further ado, obviously, we're going to discuss some of the issues, some of the things from this year, some of the big metal detecting stories. And we're going to keep it at metal detecting stories. Now, unfortunately, I've got not enough time to discuss everything or give mention. We probably give just a brief hello and thank you to that person for finding that sort of thing. But we have got several things of consequence to discuss. So first and foremost this year, I think one of the biggest things which was discovered this year, and please both of you jump in at any time, Scott was actually privy, Spring Detectable 2019. And Scott, you were privy when the Hambledon Hoard was discovered. Tell us about the Hambledon Hoard and if you can remember what events took place over that weekend.
Well, it was my first ever big event I've ever went to. Obviously, I've heard about Detective for a long time since I've been metal detecting. And obviously, a couple of my friends, obviously Andrew, Toby, Matt, I wanted to go, but there was nobody to go with. So I've been asking them for months to go down. And they were like, no. And then the last minute, I was like, Cabby, come on. I'll lend you my wife's car. I'll get you insured. We'll all go down as a group. We'll detect as a group. We'll come back as a group. All right, no bother. So on my way down, big long road trip. First day, obviously, the horn went. We all took off. I went out to one field. They followed. I was getting hammered and stuff. My first ever hammered. And they decided to go the opposite direction because they were sick of me finding stuff and they won't, believe it or not. And then next minute, I heard over the radio by the steward, there's a hoard found. So obviously I phoned my friend saying, Andrew, I phoned him saying, there's been a hoard found. Andrew on the phone shouting, yes, it's us, Scotty, it's us, get yourself over. So I just got over as they were picking up, like, out the same hole. They already had about 13 coins up and were picking more coins up as I was there and I was helping detect. receiving the coins anyway. And obviously I got a good signal, and I was digging it, and I was coin after coin after coin, and at the end, out of just one hole, 37 hammered silver coins, Edward the First. The experience was just amazing. It's hard to tell you what it's like. You have to be there to enjoy the experience. It's just an experience you would never get. You know what I mean?
So that was the initial amount of coins found, and obviously it progressed thereafter.
Yep. After obviously Detectiveville, obviously when the Detectiveville was over, obviously us and the boys stayed there for an extra week, having the archaeologists there, excavating more coins and stuff. But the Detectiveville was around about 500 and odd coins found. And then obviously that rose up to 600 and odd. And obviously they've been back down to do it, like dig more, and they have found more coins, but obviously it's not my place to see exactly how many they found altogether. I'd leave that up to the boys because they're the originally ones who found the hoard. It was just a good experience for me being there. But also not just silver coins were found, there was also 12 full gold nobles found as well. Each weigh over 8 grams, which means that they've not been clipped.
Wow.
That clip means obviously being clipped is if they've been in circulation, and when they've been hammered, obviously you've got the little bit of outline of gold. They clip that off, they save it up, and then when they've got enough, they'll melt it down and then resell that gold on. But these ones just were basically out the mint, super condition. Obviously there was a few bent, but obviously that was just with the plough damage. But bar that, the rest of them are in amazing condition. No big dents out of them. They weren't teared or nothing like that. But it was just an amazing experience.
Now, I remember, obviously, because myself and Luke are sat at home in Congleton and Eastbourne, respectively. And you contacted Luke directly and said, Luke, because you'd given us at the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine permission to use any of the images and videos that appeared on Norfolk Town Metal Detecting. And,
yep, that's right.
I honestly didn't move for the entire weekend. I was absolutely flabbergasted. And even worse was the fact that I was supposed to be going, but work commitments took precedence. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic. The Hambledon Hoard. And what a way to start the show, Kris.
Yeah, Scott, can I ask you a couple of questions about that, mate?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what depth was that at then? Let's like the first couple of hammers that came up. What depth was you looking at? Do you know?
Yep, I do exactly. You're looking at no more than 2 inches.
So it started at 2 inches, and then you just dug your way down, and just more and more came up.
Yep, that's right. Basically up at I don't know if you went to Detectiveville, did you?
Not that one, mate. No, I went to the one before it.
Well, the land where the hoard was found, in the fields around that area, is so rich in flint. When they come to cultivate it, or should I say plough it, they can't go down to no more than 2 inches because it's just full of flint. So
yeah,
it's really heavy. So anything, like you say, artifacts or coins or anything like that will not go any deeper than the flint, because obviously the flint's like a solid bottom, like as you would see a bedrock.
Yeah, I understand.
So that's why they found the coin so shallow.
And can you describe like just what the landscape was around you? I mean, do you think that was an old forest, or was it a field, or was it? I know that it was. I think it was on pasture, wasn't it? I remember watching a video.
Yeah, it was on pasture, not far from a ploughed field. Literally, you had the pasture. There was no fence or nothing, and then it was ploughed. And in the ploughed field, there was a lot of old red tiling. It could be roof tiles, or it could have been floor tiles. Which, me looking at it with obviously the past experience, I thought it was Roman tile, but I couldn't be 100% and tell you that's what it was. I'm no geologist or nothing like that, but that's what it looked like to me. And obviously people were finding quarter bells and things like that. And obviously when we got onto the land, it was basically there was a public footpath road kind of thing. On the left-hand side, you obviously had a bit of a hill. That was all ploughed land. And on the right-hand side is where the hoard was found, and that was just pasture land, which obviously is used for sheep or whatever they want to use it for.
So was that the only hill there? Or was it is it pretty flat?
No. It's basically in a valley.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, gotcha.
And also where the hoard was found, in a stone's throw away, it was on Time Team a few years back. Obviously, they had to stop the excavation down that area because they found a big burial of hundreds and hundreds of babies, obviously carcasses.
Wow.
They had to stop that, and it wasn't far from where the hoard was found from that site.
Did they manage to date though the bones of them, Scott? Were they medieval?
Yeah, it was medieval. Yeah.
Oh, what's going on there then, Dave? What do you reckon's going on there? Something's going on in that area.
Oh, definitely. I just actually Googled that because I can't actually remember that episode. But yeah, it's all coming up and it's all in fitting with the area. And I mean, let's face it, water source wise, you're right by the River Thames, Henley on Thames, more or less where the dig took place. So, there's potential for all sort of manner of human occupation in that area, definitely.
There used to be a road, the fort to the river is a short crossing through them fields.
Ah, okay.
To get the other side.
Right.
And obviously, with as you were saying about the babies and stuff there, the reason why you wouldn't have saw the episode, because when it went on air, it was took down within an hour.
I'm with you.
And it got deleted, obviously, because it's disrespect if they're dead, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you know, there's actually a Facebook group called Time Team Fans, and I'm sure if you ask that question, or I will ask that question on there in the coming days, I'll be sure to find definite more information about that anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fascinating though, Scott. That's really cool, man. That's a really cool story as well. I like that. I like that a lot.
But like I see with the Hamlin and Hoard, it was strange that, like I say, obviously you had the silver coins were finding them dotted in places. Obviously, we thought scatter hoard, but then they found the main part of it, and they start excavating, and it was weird because, it's been hit with a plough. It was so strange. On the left-hand side, it was just all silver coins. On the right-hand side, it was just all gold coins. There was no silver with a gold, and there was no gold with a silver.
Oh.
It was so weird. The gold coins, honestly, I don't know how nobody else have found them walking over because they were that shallow, or unless they have found them, put them in the pocket and walked off. God knows, who can say. But
I'll tell you what, I for one have been more than can't wait to read the actual archaeologist report on that site. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. That's something special, isn't it?
And obviously this year's, next year now, isn't it? Spring Detectable is more or less at the same site also.
Oh, is it?
It's exactly this. It's exactly the same site. It's exactly the same place as camping. It's the same land for Detectiveville as what they had last time. But I think they're putting an extra 200 or 300 brand new acres on the land, and I think they're taking the field off where the hoard was found because it's still not done with yet.
Yeah, and me and Luke definitely will be attending. I know we're looking at putting a Spring Detectiveville issue of the magazine out, and also obviously producing the podcast in there as well. So we're definitely looking forward to being there next year, because I'm sure that's not the end of the area's story.
Are you going to press record this time?
I might remember to. I might even remember. No, it wasn't press record. It was switching the mic on.
Oh, is that what it was?
But I'm a professional now. So anyway, moving on, Scott. As we were talking before the show, and I think Kris was quite astounded, you've also been privy to quite a few other hoards this past year.
Yeah, I have. All together, obviously, I'm coming up first of all. I'm coming up 4 years this coming January, so it'll be January 2020, 4 years of metal detecting. And I've been part of, this is including the Hamlin and Hoard, I've been in part of 4 hoards.
I like the way that you actually physically heard him counting that out on his fingers then.
It's Scotty. Wait till you meet him, you'll understand.
Right, that's enough, Dave.
I'm only messing.
Basically, one of them was a Roman hoard that was consistent of silver denariuses, bronze coins. There was obviously a silver necklace in there and other bits of jewellery.
What's the position of the bronze coins?
They weren't the very best. Some you couldn't make out, some were too far gone.
So I don't understand. So you got a bronze coin, Dave. You'll know more about this than me. So you got a bronze coin in the mud, and the reason that we know that they get so grotty is because they get bashed around by the plough. But I'm thinking, if they're in a hoard like that, surely they're protected with the ones on top and protecting the ones beneath from the elements.
Well, I personally would suggest you acidicness or your alkaliness of the soil. I'm sure would affect it. No matter how many there are in what. I suppose if they're protected by a pot, obviously you're going to get a better quality coin. But if it's in an area where it's acidic or it's alkali soil, it's going to be affected. That's what I'd presume anyway. And also something that I learned a few years ago. If you've got cows on the field and you've had cows on the field for many, many years, cow urine, obviously, that affects the quality of any artifacts or coins that come out of the ground too.
That's why it gets you drunk so quickly.
The coins what we found in the Roman hoard, like I say, was on a field which was pasture as well, and there's always been cattle and stuff in there, and it wasn't as such again. It wasn't a pot of coins or anything like that. It was a scattered hoard. People were finding them dotted all over the place, and then one lad obviously come to, amongst the other lads finding it. He found 3 in a hole. Obviously, he shouted hoard, and obviously he started collecting them. Obviously, I didn't know at this point there was a hoard found. Obviously, I just started out myself with a group. We first ever metal detecting dig. I was still learning. You learn by your mistakes. And I was in another field talking to another person. This is another hoard we're going to talk about tonight, about possibly another hoard. And the next minute I see is this big yellow, and I'll get this right because people say it was a JCB, and it wasn't. It was a cat, a CAT. Driving across the field, I was like, what the hell? As the time I got over there, there's the farmer digging away at this big hole. I'm like, whoa, what you doing? It was just Sunday afternoon, bearing in mind. Everywhere was shut. So I was straight on the phone to the British Museum, believe it or not. Explained to them the situation, what was happening. Obviously, it was a group dig, such and such. They went, well, all what we can advise you to do is when you are scraping away, take an inch by inch, taking pictures, count what was on that thingy, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we've done. Nothing got damaged or nothing like that. It was just basically a few coins in a bit jewellery in the hole, you know?
Yeah. But did the farmer not listen to you? Did he just want it all out?
What happened was obviously the time I got there, they were practically finished anyway. And I was like, I did stop it at first, and then I was like, after I phoned, when I was on the phone, I was like, well, that's it, stop, don't go no further. And then when the person that the British Museum spoke to us, to say, just do that because we can't really leave it overnight because obviously it's a group dig, somebody could easily go back.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it wasn't the right way to do it. But now, with us run the group so much and getting into depth and stuff, and like I say, you learn by your mistakes.
Yeah,
I know how to do things now properly, you know?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we all do, really. I mean, again, we'll move on shortly and speak to Kris about the hoard that he discovered this year. I'm sure you've learnt a hell of a lot from spending the day with the archaeologists on that site.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I have absolutely loads, tons. Just in a few hours I was with them, I learnt so much.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you learn, isn't it? By just watching or asking questions.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. They get sick of you asking, though, don't they?
Because they're so intelligent and smart, and I'm asking the most stupid questions.
What does that do? What's that for?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm coming up to them with a little bit of flint, which is just a little bit of random flint. I'm like, do you reckon that was like a cutting blade? And they're like, no, Chris, no, that's just a bit of flint.
That's exactly what I was like.
It's brilliant, man. I love that. Yeah. Sorry, Dave. Carry on, mate.
I think one of the issues that a lot of people have regarding hoards that have been discovered and the way the media portray it is the fact that they're always issued a amount of money that it's allegedly worth, and I think that piddles off the entirety of the archaeological community. It winds up the metal detecting community, and it's attracted a hell of a lot of new metal detectorists as well.
That's why I waived my fee. I just didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
it just wasn't about that at all whatsoever. And I'm not in a position where I can waive a fee. I've got told off for it by the wife, but it wasn't about that. You know,
it's about the history, isn't it?
The history, the excitement, the learning, Scott, man. You know, you've been there, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Some things are worth more than money, and if the money's nice, okay, I understand that, but
it's a bonus if you get it.
But the experience of it is just like, just amazing. I loved every second of finding that hoard. I really do.
Well, you can tell that by the excitement in your voice on the video.
Yeah, it was just such a privilege, you know.
We're going to stop there, and we're going to let people wait to hear that.
Oh, okay.
Now, so Scott,
yeah,
we can come back to your hoards later. We're going to move on a little bit. The next hoard of consequence, I think the main hoard of consequence that was really discovered this year, back in January. I think Kris, you'll be able to comment on the locality a lot better than most people who are here at the moment. The Chew Valley hoard, which was discovered near Somerset in January of this year by Lisa Grace and Adam Staples.
Yeah, no, never heard of it.
Even though...
Somerset. That's all the way down the west, man. I'm in the southeast. So yeah.
I thought you were in the southwest.
No, I'm in the southeast. I'm in folks. I'm right on the corner. I'm next to France. Really, I can see France is only 19 miles away from me.
Well, I do apologise. I thought you were more Devon way. Well, okay. The Chew Valley hoard was a total of 2,528 coins from the 11th century Norman conquest of England, including 1,236 coins of Harold II, 1,310 coins of William I. The coins included some mules. Mules are coins which have the head of one king on one side and a different king on the other.
I'm actually salivating. That's not right, is it? That can't be right. That's
totally right. You salivate. I salivate over pies. You salivate over 2,528 coins.
Yeah, and page 3 girls.
They don't do that no more.
Do they still exist? Oh, come on.
No,
come on.
Don't.
Do they have the Daily Sport anymore?
So the ones up on my wall, I'm going to be able to sell them for big money soon.
That makes up for the 2,528
coins. I don't have
page 3. The page 3 girls and the is it this Daily Sport or something like that? Or
as if you don't know.
It used to be the Sun.
The Sun. That's it.
I'm sorry. I can't speak about the Sun. I'm a Liverpool fan.
Oh yeah,
we'll leave the Sun there. Anyway,
I think we should leave it for many reasons, Dave. But that's one of them. Yeah, definitely.
The coroner's treasure inquest was held to determine the state of the hoard, and it was declared treasure, and therefore became the property of the Crown, which is under the terms of the 1996 Treasure Act, which everything that we're going to discuss tonight basically will be probably. It was estimated, one of them numbers that comes up out of nowhere, that it was worth £5 million.
Wow!
So there you go. So that was basically the big one of the year, the Chew Valley hoard. So that was nice.
I do recall. I have this kind of like mental block when it comes to hoards, where I have to not pay any attention. You shouldn't have got me on this show. Like, because I don't know anything about any Hoards anywhere, because I block them out. Because soon
Did
as
you really not know about that, Todd?
No, I think I know the one. I think were they on the front of the treasure hunting magazine? Those
Yes,
two. I
that's
think
the one. Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
one. Yeah, but I try to just block it out because I just get like a bit shaky when I like, and it gets my hopes up too much. And then I go, right, I'm going to find a Hoard, and off I go, and I don't find one. It's horrible.
I spent summer Detectiveville with Adam and Lisa, the full summer Detectiveville.
Oh,
Were
okay.
you with me?
No, what? No, wouldn't it be summer Detectiveville? It would be. It was
Joking.
It was summer Detectiveville.
Do you know actually what it's?
I was thinking there, Dave.
And he's camping with myself, with Niall, and with Luke. Basically, all sleeping in vehicles. He had a nice big RV, and he said to me, "Dave, whatever happens Sunday morning, make sure you get me up for 8 o'clock." I said, "Of course I will, mate." So I get up nice and early, go back over and set the stall up. 8 o'clock. Oh, I've got to go get Scott up, so I'll go get Katrina, his wife, sat with legs out, having a nice brew outside the Harbour. Where's Scott? Fast asleep. You're joking? No, he didn't come in till about 6 o'clock. You're joking? I had to go in and I jumped on him and it was videoed him and I was shaking him and I dragged him out and he can't still to this day.
I can't even remember
that took place. He didn't believe it was videoed or anything.
I
saw the video and it's true.
He turned up 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He got up. He missed entire days detecting.
And on the field and I just to show the wife out to detect because it was her first ever time. And that day it was so hot, we just decided to go right back to the pub and just spent all day in front of the pub.
Hey, we've given mention there to Spring Detectable and Detectable. We also have to give a big mention to obviously the Rodney Cook Memorial, and it's one of those things. We've had something that we're going to give mention to shortly. A bad thing we've had, night talking issues, etc., this year. But the Rodney Cook Memorial Rally, which was organised by Gary Cook, it was his dad who sadly passed away. It was in his memory. Took place near Bath back in September. I think it was the week before Detectable, and they raised, I think, something in the region of £32,000 for three different causes in the area. So you've got to pass kudos onto that straight away.
Absolutely, man. That is fantastic. And also, I've just got it's just kind of like mention your input and Luke's input into that. Because you really did promote it and you really did push and you really did like reach out to people as well. And you need a pat on the back for that one, mate.
Well, appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's obviously we're here basically to get the information out. It's exactly the podcast we're doing now. It's nice for me to chat to people. It's nice for Luke when he has the opportunity to come and chat to people. Enjoy doing it. We really do. And if we can do anything for anybody, we will.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really, really nice. It's like you just kind of feel that you guys have got our backs. If there's like big news that needs to get out there, or if there's something that needs to get out there, then it's you're beginning to. You'd be the first people I go to. If I find something big, absolutely.
That's the way it should be.
Or I do something big, or something happens that I want to talk about in the metal detecting world.
Yeah.
That's
and, obviously, we're there for anybody at any time. And again, it's not just the people who we regularly interact with. We're there for anybody, absolutely anybody. And that's why we're trying to build all these different platforms. We've now got the video cast, which we've now given access to all the followers on the Facebook page. We've given them access to something totally unique for us to what we're doing. We're only doing it twice already. And, we're there to... Prime example, National Council for Metal Detecting need to get some information out ASAP. We're fully digital. We can lash it out straight away and get it to as many people as we possibly can, like we did 2 weeks ago with their Christmas raffle. We record figures for that. Honestly, I'll tell you the figures, the statistics off air, but we totally blew everything that we've ever done out the water in just that one show. So it's what we like to do, what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
cool.
stop giving me plaudits. It's Detectival as well. Mark Beecher and the Metal Detectives. They raised something again in the region of the late £20,000, something like £28,000. So more good news. And
good.
we were actually sat. I can't remember the little boy's name, but we were sat. Ellis, his name was. Get Ellis Active was the campaign, and this little lad, he's got something, a disability, and they're trying obviously to get him active, and the money they're raising is to send him over to America to be able to perform some form of operation. And the Metal Detectives who organised Detectival LP, they raised a fortune for him, and it's all going to a fantastic cause. So again,
That's
kudos
great.
to them this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the
there's
metal.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I'm getting confused a little bit with just kind of like YouTube in metal detectorists. So metal detectives are not metal detectives.
The
So
Metal
you've got the metal
Detectives
detectives
group.
and metal detectives.
The Metal
Yeah, go on.
Detectives group is run by, don't quote me, but basically Mark Betcher. He is the organizer. Him and that group are the organizers of Detectival.
Oh, okay. All right, I understand.
They run, I think, several digs a week throughout the Oxfordshire, Aylesbury, all that sort of area, and fantastic feedback from all their digs. Some of the things, I follow them on Twitter, and some of the things that pop up out of their digs, again, phenomenal artifacts. They're doing a hell of a lot for history, and all in the correct, precise manner as well. So that's the Metal Detectives group that do that. Sadly, this year we have had the opposite side of the coin, with the alleged 3 million of Viking treasure, which has gone missing or went missing. This was in Shropshire, Herefordshire. George Powell and Leighton Davis failed to tell the UK authorities they had found coins and jewellery dating back 1,100 years to the reign of King Alfred the Great, who, by the way, is a direct descendant of my good self, or I'm a direct descendant of his good self even. The historic items were dug up in Herefordshire, which they did not belong to them in, I think, a spot of night talking went on. They've found this hoard. It's all gone through the legal system, and I believe one of them, maybe two of them, have had up to 13 years in prison, which some people complained about due to other crimes that is reported and go through in the UK. But basically, that's the bad side of the coin for this year. There was also allegedly some night talking that went on Hadrian's Wall that was reported, as well as I'm sure other people would have heard of other stuff. So that's the bad side of it. I just wanted to get that out of the way on the flip side to the good side. But obviously the good side needs to be spoken about. Yes, Scott?
Since you're on the word of like Hogan and treasure and stuff like that, I'll just give advice to any listeners or anybody who's out there, no matter what, if you've got permission just for a day, or if you get permission for a long time, or just an acre of land, always have a written contract with your farmer, because simple fact is, if you haven't got that written contract, it only takes you one step and you could hit a big jackpot of good artifacts. And if you haven't got that contract, it's the farmer's land, and therefore anything found on the farmer's land belongs to the farmer. So if you haven't got a written contract, then you've got no say in it. But if you've got a written contract, then it's all illegal and it's all on paper. That's all I wanted to say.
Can I just back that up, Scott? Dave.
Yep.
When I found my hoard, this year, I didn't have a contract, and it suddenly occurred to me that I didn't have a contract, and I thought to myself, if this farmer, I didn't know him that well, just decides to go, actually, do you know what? We haven't got a contract. I'm going to have all that. That's mine. There would be nothing I could have done about it. So Scotty is spot on there, and that's really important, mate. That's a really good point. So well done for bringing that up.
And you also need to make the farmer fully aware of the treasure process and things that occur after anything of consequence is found as well, because most farmers don't get that told to them and don't understand the outcome of what transpires. No,
that's it.
For anybody who wants a contract, they can go onto the NCMD website and they can print agreement out on there, obviously free of charge, and it's got everything on there. You just fill it in with your own details. There's also a section on there where you and the farmer can agree on a percentage of, say, a coin's found and it's only worth £1,000. If the farmer agrees, if anything found over £500 gets split 50-50, he can agree on that. It's all on there. Have a look on the NCMD website and it'll tell you.
And that's www.ncmd.co.uk, I think. I'll soon tell you anyway. Right. And if it's not .co.uk, it'll definitely be .com, but we will check now. And it's .co.uk. So yeah, that's all on there, as well as lots of obviously codes of conduct that you should be more or less abiding by. Search agreements, plus lots more. So
it's just a great reference, isn't it? The NCMD site.
Oh, it certainly is, definitely. Amazing. Now, moving on again. This actually wasn't a find from this year, but the prominence of it in its reporting throughout the UK this year has been quite phenomenal. Friend of the show, he's been on a few times, Mike Smith. He started a group on Facebook called Metal Detecting Wales and Beyond, I believe. Anyway, Mike, back in February last year, 2018, he discovered some bits and bobs while metal detecting that turned out to be Iron Age. He obviously carried on. I think he sent the information originally over to Julian Evan Hart of Treasure Hunter magazine, who said that mate. It's I can't remember the exact first object. I think it wasn't the brooch. It was part of. Oh, it was no. I'm going through it, but I can't remember the exact thing. I do apologise, Mike. But the first thing that I found, he identified as Iron Age. Mike went back to the site, reported it. Along came the archaeologists, and I think we can all say that he changed the history in that area of South Wales in Pembrokeshire significantly by finding an Iron Age chariot. And wow, the images that we've seen from that now, you've even seen pairs of wheels excavated, the wheels sticking out the ground. Phenomenal finds. Have you seen them, Kris?
No, I'm going to look right now. No, this is what I mean. I try to keep away from this stuff because it makes me salivate. Right. Where was this?
Just Mike Smith, Iron Age chariot. That's all you need to put in. It'll come up straight away. Mike spoke at length to us. He came back on the show a couple of months ago, and the archaeologists have now handed the site back. They've completed the excavations. They've found lots and lots.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yes.
See, this is why I can't look at this stuff. I want to go metal detecting now. It's 9:45. It's freezing cold and raining, and now I want to go metal detecting.
You'll soon warm up when you start digging those holes.
Oh, look at this!
He actually first thought that the bridal decoration that he found was a medieval brooch, and it ends up being a Celtic harness decoration. So,
this makes me want to cry, man.
Please wipe your mouth, friend.
Look at this. This is beautiful. Right, sorry, Dave. It's not. I'm doing a visual thing. So anybody that's listening to this, just Google what Dave and Scotty just told me to Google. Mike Smith, Iron Age chariot, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed with the images that come up.
Absolutely phenomenal. There's one of a turret ring, which would have guided the chariot reins. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, and you can visualise from that alone, and it's the artwork on it. What the whole of the, you got to take into consideration what chariots look like in films and that, but actually seeing the decoration, it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Do you know? Can I ask you both a question? Right, this is completely irrelevant to metal detecting. So these designs are beautiful. I would get one of these designs tattooed on me. I think if I found that, I would get one of these designs tattooed on me. Would you?
Mate, it's always been my plan. If I ever find a Celtic coin, I want that design on my body. I've always said that from the day I started metal detecting.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to laugh you on the note of finding things in tattoos. I was going to get when I found a cartwheel penny, I was going to get that tattooed on me. But
you've got
penny I did find.
You've got a modern 2p on you instead.
The thing is, Scotty, with the amount of Hoards that you've been involved with, mate, there'll be no room on your pocket.
Especially the size of it.
Do you know, actually, there's some fantastic drawings of Bronze Age tools and weapons that could make a fantastic design as well, to be fair. Nudge, nudge.
But honestly, look at these designs, guys. They are absolutely, sorry, the designs, what Mike dug up here. It's absolutely phenomenal. Really is. Wow.
It is. And that's obviously, it's all been classed as treasure. It's gone through the process correctly. It's been studied by the archaeologists. And again, something else that I can't wait to see the report of from Cadw. That's Cadw. That's the it's like the Welsh British Museum of Art. You know, the British archaeology. It's the Welsh one for people listeners who don't know.
Can you say it in Welsh? Can you, Dave?
Cadw. I actually did some back in. It would have been about 2002. Now we actually done some work for Cadw on Anglesey, me and a former colleague of mine. He, beforehand, have actually found, I think, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure, the only Roman church chapel, Roman chapel on the island. And he actually paid privately for a geophys. And I remember him having this geophys image on Pride of Place on his mantelpiece. So we were actually doing on the back of that, and knowing the person who sort of worked with people locally, we were able to work doing some surveys for Cadw. Didn't find a thing personally. Still haven't.
They just reel us in, don't they? Every time.
A few quick ones I'll throw in now. Michelle Val. I'll give her a mention. She's from Blackpool. She found the treasure of a traitor, a 350-year-old ring that belonged to King Charles II's courtier, who was hung, drawn and quartered after being framed for treason in 1678. And she found this up in Loch Lomond in Scotland. Now, Scott, you've got a little bit of information to add to that, haven't you?
I have indeed. Well, what happened was, obviously, no for the time detecting was having open dig. We always have open digs. We were open. We welcome anybody with open arms, new, old, just starting out. We're there to help. And obviously, Val was travelling to Scotland. She went, is it okay if we come up on the way with Pashes, come to your dig? I was like, yeah, no problem, come up. She went, the only thing is obviously we're going to get there a night before early. I went, it's okay, because we used to camp out anyway in the summer. So she rocks up in her and her husband in a van. We get speaking that night around the fire, a couple of beers, and she explained where she was going. And obviously I've done a bit of research in that area prior. I didn't know she was going up there, just it's somewhere. I love Scotland. And she goes, I'm going metal detecting at such and such. I went, but when you get up there, I bet you any money you're going to find gold. And she went, no, I don't think so. I went, you're going to find gold. I can just feel it. Obviously, she left that day after the day, gets up there next minute, no, she finds this gold ring. It's like, wow, amazing.
And save you searching for that, Chris. I've actually just sent it you via Facebook, so you can just click on the link yourself.
Oh, it's you that's pinging. My phone's all the way down there. I've got to move. And that means there could be lots of beer spillage going on here. And
I thought, it's such a beautiful signet ring. I thought, I'll save him doing a search. I'll just let him click on.
If I spill any beer, I am going to be disappointed with you, Dave Sadler. Right, hold on.
It's worth it.
Okay, just fill the space. Come on, we don't want to have space on break, do it?
It's a beautiful ring, Scott. You've seen the picture and take it.
Bloody hell! Would you have a look at that? Come on, let's see. This. You guys are out of order.
Was it worth the beer spillage?
Well, no, because it's not in my pocket.
So basically, it's a coat of arms. It's got a lion in the middle of the arms. It's got a knight's head. Lots of, like, what do you call that, bunting type thing? And then wings at the top with a spearhead in the middle. That's on the signet ring face itself. Absolutely stunning.
It just has this milled circle around it, doesn't it? That is just gorgeous, isn't it?
So she found this up at Loch Lomond when she was staying at holiday classes there. She'd got permission from a local landowner to search the field, and there she found the ring. Stunning. And she found that with Equinox, I think.
She did, yeah. There's a picture of the Equinox and her hair.
Yeah, it was an Equinox 800.
Yeah, very nice. Wow.
And then it's got images thereafter of Edward Coleman, who was convicted as part of the Popish plot, a fake conspiracy put before the Privy Council by priest Titus Oates in 1678. Oates, later dubbed Titus the Liar, claimed several Catholic men were plotting to kill the king, with Edward Coleman among them named. So fantastic bit of history as well as a beautiful ring.
Yeah, it is. That's absolutely amazing. Just everything about that is just perfect, isn't it? It really is.
So there you go. And I love all these little sub bits in articles as well that tell you how a metal detector works.
Yeah. Well done, Michelle. That is fantastic. Doesn't look 53, does she?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't.
Yeah. See, that's metal detecting for you, boys. Keeps us all young, doesn't it?
So what I better do now as well, I better send you the next one as well, as stave you looking. This is the story of Billy Vaughan. Billy, who was a care worker, took up the hobby. So it would have been March this year, and he struck gold by digging up a Bronze Age bracelet.
Bloody hell! Would you look at that?
A solid arm torque, a 22 karat gold weighing 11 ounces. That's up to 4,000 year old, and that was made in Whitehaven up in Cumbria.
And he thought that was scrap, that, you know. He didn't know it was gold.
6 months he's been metal detecting for. 6 months.
Yeah.
And that was found with a Garrett Ace 250, that was.
And he was happy finding buttons and the odd silver coin. So when he found that, he was gobsmacked, to say the least.
Yep. I would have been as well.
I'm not enjoying this.
Put the phone down. I'm not telling you my story now.
It's just so out of order, isn't it? You look at that, Scotty. Do you know what I mean? 6 months. 6 months. How long have I been doing this for now? 11 years. Look at that.
Listen, we take everything into account.
I was only detecting for about 6 months, or maybe just over 6 months, and that's when the Roman Horde come up on one of my commissions.
You can go home and all.
Listen,
I've had enough of audio.
It's the 70s when I started with my dad. It was the early 2000s started again, and I've still not found anything really. So
it's just
you need to get some research done and get some better landing.
It's location, isn't it, Dave? It's location.
Going over it. It's the luck of the draw, and I'm lucky. Next up in our brief hits of the year, this was quite a recent one. UK's largest gold nugget discovered in a Scottish river, 121.3 grams, now known as the Reunion Nugget.
A nugget?
Have you not seen that one?
No, I have seen that one.
Because
because I'm like really quite intrigued because I wanted to go to Scotland and do a bit of like nugget hunting, man. And it was funny because I went into it into some depth and tried to look into where the best places were and things. And
well, now you know.
Then I thought about going to Australia for a little bit and then California. I thought, I know that they come up in rivers in Scotland. And then this happened because this has been quite recent, wasn't it? This was like, when did this happen? So there you go, 3rd of December. So I knew that it was very, very recent, and that's just kind of like piqued my interest even more now.
He found the second nugget 30 centimetres away as well. Doesn't tell you the size of the second nugget.
Where did he find it? Was it in a river?
It just says Scottish River. Obviously, they're not going to go into depth where it is because there'll be a gold rush.
I roughly know exactly whereabouts he found it because I've got a lot of people who go gold panning up there. And I've been told
there you go. You're definitely going to have to keep in contact with Scott now, Chris.
Scott, get your tent out, mate. We're off.
If you can give us a piggyback, I'm in.
I'll bring the beers.
Do you know what? It's sad, I know, but I watch all of the gold hunting programs.
So do I.
They're fun. They're fun, though, aren't they?
I forgot what they're called.
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
Gold Hunters,
and the other one, that's great. See the nugget they found, the world record one for that program.
The Aussie Gold Hunters. Oh, that's mint.
Yeah, that's it.
Gold Rush White Water. Have you watched that one?
That's
No.
amazing. That is.
They're actually doing it in a creek, so they're diving. They've got the floatable dredges, and the diving waterfalls and stuff, and going down 18 feet below the water at waterfalls. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh.
And
See,
there's
that's-
Fred Hurt diving on his birthday, 80-odd year old, I think
Yeah,
he
that's
is he?
right. Yeah, Freddie
Oh,
Dodge. No, not Freddie Dodge. What's his name? Freddie.
Hurt or something like that.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's just a whole different kind of ball game, just treasure hunting that we don't get to experience.
That other one, the one that is bearing
love
sea
it.
gold, where they're actually diving the sea and dredging the seabed off Nome in Alaska. Phenomenal.
That is so cool.
It's called Gold Divers, that is.
Yeah, but it's actually bearing sea gold in America, that one.
Is it? But it's called in America, is it?
Yeah, and do you know what? It's quite funny as well, because if you watch them in England, we've got a uniquely Sean Pertwee type person who's talking over it, and in the US you've got a totally different somebody telling you the stuff on there. It's brilliant.
Really?
Oh, yeah, totally different. You've got an American person doing it, the American side of it, and obviously the UK person doing the monologue in this country.
Yeah, I might have to watch an American version now.
It's much more exciting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Next up, let me just do the copy and paste and send it over to Mr. Bleeps.
Let's have a look. Ready and waiting
Don't
up, chap.
drop
ready?
your beer.
This
No,
is
I'm good now, man. I've picked it up.
Mark Betcher, who we've mentioned numerous times tonight from the Metal Detective, went on to a friend's house for a barbecue, and he said this.
Send me this link because I haven't saw this either.
Have you not? So
No.
Tom Clark, he's 81. He discovered a ring when he was metal detecting back in 1979. Basically thought it was nothing, put it in his box of junk, carried on. 40 years later, Mark Betcher goes round to his house for barbecue. Oh, come on, Tom, let's have a look at your stuff. And he's going through. He went, what the hell, what's this? Oh, it's just a bit of junk in it. It's not, mate. It ends up being a gold ring from 1350.
Mate,
Now,
if you think that that's a bit of junk, you need your head tested. Scott, look at that picture. Have you sent this to Scott yet?
no, I haven't. I'll do that now as well.
How can you put that in your scrap box? Seriously. Good Lord, man.
So it's a gold ring. In fact, I'll let you're better at descriptions than I am, Chris.
It's a gold. Yeah, as you said, it's a gold ring with these like milled edges. It's like an oval shape with something. It's got a black. What is that? A stone, an amethyst, or something? I don't know. But there looks like to me to be a figure right in the middle there, Dave.
Well,
and
it
then
says it's the god Mars depicted in it.
Whoa.
Mars. There you go.
That's
So,
lush.
and around it we have what looks to be it could be Latin. I don't know.
It says Latin, and it's a seal as well. So they were actually using it in wax.
So it's a gold ring seal. So Scott, can you see that picture?
I can't. If I found that, it's not junk.
Would you stick that in your junk
But
box?
back in
Definitely
1970s,
Yeah, they just
Wow.
the
found,
internet
they
wasn't
just
there.
found
You're not
them all
gonna
the time, didn't
you
they?
put stuff to one side. I know people who found stuff years later that's worth a couple of £100, and they thought nothing of it back in 1970s and 80s.
No excuses. I wouldn't just stick that in my flares and stick them in the washing machine, mate. That was like, lovely. Look at that.
That's gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. It really, really is. Yeah. No.
It looks like he's holding some kind of spears or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, or something over his shoulder. Or it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
The angle's weird. So I can't quite make it out. We're not helping
it
the people.
states anyway that it's a medieval gold ring circa 1350, bears a Latin inscription and a carved stone of the god Mars.
Wow.
In
That
an
is just
intaglio, which I don't know what an intaglio is, to be honest.
intaglio. I
I'll
think.
Google it.
Does that mean seal or something?
Intaglio. Well, it says printmaker, so engraving printmaker. So yeah.
Yeah.
What is the example of intaglio? The lines to be printed are cut out into metal plates. So yeah, basically a seal.
Yeah, that is lovely, isn't it?
Amazing.
A seal ring. Wow.
I've got to say, Italians have far better words for things than we have there.
So if you punch someone in the face and you've got that ring on your fist,
Not
You
that
have
not
to
that we
have
condone
intaglio.
punching people in faces.
No.
You
But
get
back
caught
then,
straight away.
I mean, we're in the 21st century now. It's different. But, back then, you get caught straight away. Yeah, Scott. Who did this crime?
Hey, let's
Oh,
be honest.
honestly.
When you're talking about tattoos, imagine that as a tattoo. Getting the seal of that done
There you
professionally
go.
and having a tattoo of that be something else. That
You would, wouldn't you?
Be amazing.
You'd absolutely would. And then people would say, "What's that?" People get all these tattoos, and it's like, "Yeah, this one, mate. This Celtic like tattoo that I've got is because I like the Celts." That's no good, is it? Like, if someone says, "What's that tattoo there, mate?" You go like, "Oh, it's like an 800-year-old ring that I found." It was like that. Okay, then, all right then. I'll buy into that. That's amazing. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh God, I hate you both, man. Why you bring me in this just to wind me up?
wait till you see the next one.
Oh, come on!
Now,
come on, man.
I said this before, and I'm just trying to relook to see if I've got the word right. But I said to Kris about an angel being found, and he thought it had wings. Sadly, it didn't have wings.
Like the
Well,
one
it give you
like
wings.
Del Boy and like Rodney's mum in the graveyard. That's what I pictured in my head.
Or Val in bloody Emmerdale. So, what is it like to strike rich while metal detecting? Back in April of this year, a metal detector is new to the hobby called Gareth Melwood. And look at his machine. He's got
Why are they always
Gareth
new to the
18
hobby?
Pro. I know, yeah, it's these bloody
Beginner's luck.
lucky buggers.
I'm going to give up metal detecting for a year and then begin again.
He found a rare gold coin of Henry VII, founder of the Tudor dynasty and the only Welshman to sit upon the English throne. Now, I'm pretty sure this is an angle or an angel. We'll go for angel, not the one with wings. And it's an absolutely stunning, stunning coin.
I hate it.
On
The
one
worst
side,
thing-
it
the worst thing
actually,
I've ever seen.
if you scroll down and you look at the Portable Antiquities Scheme image that's on there, one side you've got a ship, and the other side you've actually got an angel. If you look at that, so that's why it is an angel, obviously.
Look at old Gareth there, been metal detecting for like half a day, like proudly showing off his bloody angel. Oh,
Have you seen the picture with the angel on there? If you scroll down even further, there's a massive one.
Yes, I hate it. It's the worst picture I've ever seen.
I can remember seeing that one when he found it, like when it got posted online. Like,
is that like a sea beast beneath his legs, Scotty?
It looks like,
sea
doesn't it?
beast, like
Some
the
sort of dragon or something.
like the Kraken or something, man. Oh, come on!
oh yeah,
That'd make a good tattoo, actually.
That's a tattoo, isn't it, Dave? Mate,
I didn't even notice that. That is amazing.
that is, isn't it? What is that? It is like the Kraken or something down there, isn't it? And this angel looks like he's spearing it in its mouth.
But if you look at the angel wings, on the right-hand side of the angel wings, it looks like a dragon's head and a dragon's tail.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, coming down the top. It is a stunning piece of work. I mean, could that be St. George-esque? If you look around the head as well, he's even got the halo with all the rays coming out as well.
Well, on the other side, I can clearly
crazy.
see a crucifix above the shield. If you look on the other side, Dave, you can see. Look above the shield, which is centre. There's a crucifix, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was in some way biblical.
Now,
Above the shield.
What I'm doing now, I'm actually going on to try and find out. Obviously, if you go online, anybody who's listening who doesn't necessarily know much about coins and whatnot, you can actually go on the internet and basically research any coin. If you haven't got, let's face it, the best book there is, the Sphinx book. So I've gone on and I'm looking at the Royal Mint, and it's approximately 5.15 grams. Pure gold content of 4.7 grams, so that's very good. 22 karat gold, 29 millimeter approximately. The angel features amulets and a shield over a ship on the obverse, and an angel with small wings, Saint Michael, with both feet on a dragon on the reverse.
There it is.
1464 saw the first gold angel appear in British coinage. It weighed 80 grams, with a value of 6 shillings and 8 pence, which apparently was the standard professional fee at the time. It remained with us for almost 200 years until the reign of Charles I. So, yes, it's a dragon. Gorgeous.
Yeah. That is
amazing.
That is phenomenal, isn't it? Wow.
Definitely. That's what my theory is as well, about dragons and stuff. I know it's off topic, this, but you with the Roman wall and you've got the other wall up in Scotland. The reason why I built the wall for is not to keep enemies out in my eyes. I think it's to keep some kind of like low animal like a dragon or something out, because it's just so weird why it's that one section which was a no man's land.
It's easy to turn your nose up at something like that, a comment like that. But we've got to remember that they did believe in dragons back then, and they were convinced that they existed, and they did believe in witches and ghosts and all sorts of beasts. So I think that's like completely, absolutely, Scott. Why not? Why not, man?
Yeah, that's it. Some kind of big crocodile or something like that, which couldn't climb. Just keep it out.
Big toothed beastie. It's going to come and scoff up all the villagers, man. They believed in it.
That's what I reckon.
So it's much like Game of Thrones, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I miss that. I can feel it ancestrally in me. I want to still believe in mythology, I still want to believe in bloody dragons and ghosties and beasties and the big fight against them all. I reckon there's stuff out there, I do,
Yeah,
Sorry.
Definitely. I agree on that.
I'll be honest with you, Chris. Obviously, before I started doing the metal detecting, the archaeology, doing a magazine, I used to be involved in something totally different. And one side of the coin that I used to study intensely was cryptozoology. So I've been privy to some fascinating reports of some quite peculiar and intriguing things from around the world that you really wouldn't believe in some cases.
Well,
but that's for another day.
Yeah. Just before we move on, like Dave. Big cats. I saw a massive cat down here in the 90s. We'll talk about that at some point as well.
Marvelous.
Well, yeah, because that's related, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah, big freaking thing it was, like a big bloody jaguar, man. I legged it.
I would have. I'm going to go off topic very briefly because I'll forget otherwise. One of the cases that we had reported to us, we actually found the home area, I can't remember the correct terminology, of a lynx colony. And the lynx colony, we actually tracked it via watercourses to where it actually came from originally, which was a place called Ryber Castle in Matlock, which was featured in the film Dead Man's Shoes, if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that,
So that, before it became derelict, it was actually a zoo for a period of time. The zoo closed down. Several occasions lynx actually escaped, but they were also at one point selling animals to people in the back of the cars, lynx included. So we actually believe that we actually tracked them all the way back to Ryber Castle, and where we found them, where I'd still believe they would actually be living now, to be honest.
Wow.
So that was fantastic, and video footage did actually was in existence from that site, which we actually caught with a wildlife cam, which we placed up there. So another story, another day.
Yeah, absolutely. You should do a whole show on like weird mythologies and experiences around metal detecting, about things that people have seen whilst metal detecting, because I've seen some weird stuff. Oh,
I'm sure that'd be we'd be able to drum up interest in that, no problem. Mike Hare himself, or Metal Mode, he had a paranormal event which he believes took place when he was metal detecting, and I'm sure numerous other people. I mean, even that feeling that people get whilst metal detecting, right? I need to metal detect in that particular spot, and lo and behold, how do you classify that?
Yeah. And sometimes, Scott, you'll get this as well, mate. But sometimes when you dig something up and you just get this really strong feeling off this thing, and you're like, whoa, you're like, you don't know what it is, but you just get a feeling off of it. You're like, something ain't right with this. I don't know what it is about this item, but it just feels...
I have dug something up and I've had to rebury it like before because of that same feeling. I'm like, whoa, this is not right.
Yeah, when I found that,
reburied it and left it.
Yeah, I found that mourning ring, man. I found a mourning ring for a baby.
Really?
Yeah, oh, dude, I found this morning. I've got it on video, and I found this like ring. Yeah, it's a mourning ring, and I thought I can't have this. This doesn't belong to me. It should be buried. It should be respected. So I reburied it, and then I went on for a dig, and I found a Queen Anne gold coin straight after I buried it. Man,
wow. That's somebody looking after you.
I know, crazy. I was just like, whoa! I've got a video on it. It still blows my mind to think what happened there. It's crazy.
Is it on your YouTube channel? Is it?
It is, mate. Yeah. It's,
I'll have to have a look.
I'll give Dave to give you the link, but bloody hell, there's some weird things going on it, and I think the metal detecting connects us slightly to these things as well. Everybody's got a weird story to tell, even the most cynical people. I'm naturally a cynic, really, but doing metal detecting and the things that I've experienced have made me go, something. There's things going on. Right. Yeah, there's things going on that like we just don't know. Sorry, Dave. Go on. I've digressed again, mate. Sorry, mate.
No. It's all for chatting. We're here to chat, and just crack on with that however you want to. No problem there. Yeah,
I bet people have got some amazing stories.
Definitely. While I'm thinking on, Scott, I think you'd have listened to this show the other week, and I'm telling you, Kris, for a reason, you'll get there in the middle. We had a gentleman on called Ian Churchwarden from a band called The Legendary 10 Seconds, who are a medieval concept band. Basically, all their albums are... He's a member of the Richard III Society, for instance, and they made an album basically related entirety to Richard III. And we had him on because he contacted me because he wrote a song called Song for the Metal Detectorist, which it's pretty darn good, to be honest. Anyway, on the back of that...
I'm getting your CD posted.
Pardon?
I'm getting your CD posted up.
We're actually... I think I'll put Scott in communication with him as well, because hopefully we're going to get him to appear at DetectorCon as well. Which would be nice. Anyway, the reason I'm...
unfortunately...
You know, obviously, my story about how I started metal detecting with my dad and his machine, the C-Scope. He's actually written a song based on that, and it's. I'll put a jingle on at the end of the show. I'll close out with this jingle that I closed out the other night, and it's a 30-second part of the song that he's wrote in its entirety about my getting started in archaeology and metal detecting. And he sings about the C-Scope. And I've told Martin Bass, and he can't wait to hear it either, so I'll put that on the end of the show. I just reminded myself then, so I thought I've got to butt in and tell you that one anyway.
That's cool. That's big. Yeah, I want to hear that as well, because I'm a musician myself, aren't I? So definitely.
So yeah, really good show as well, to be honest, because it wasn't.
Can you sing?
Who, me? Yeah, perfectly. I saw the karaoke.
No, not you, Dave.
Who, me?
Yeah,
I sing, man. Yeah, I sing. I play bass. I play guitar. My actual thing is bass. I taught bass on YouTube for years, and I've got like 65,000 subscribers over there. Wow. I was actually quite a big deal. Mark King thought I was like Britain's brightest bass player in Hope, and I just kind of turned my back on it a little bit and got into metal detecting instead.
But obviously that's where the money was.
Anyway.
Don't. I'm still in a silly band, and I still play, and I still. I'm going to get back to that YouTube channel at some point as well. So, yeah, I do sing, but I'm not the greatest singer, mate. Definitely not.
Anyway, let's close the show out with your horde this year. Your horde this year, young man. No, obviously, I do it dead constructive, I am now. I try to keep to an hour. But obviously, this has gone well over an hour, and I don't really care because it's been fantastic. Everything we spoke about tonight it's one of the best shows I've been a part of, to be honest. I've really enjoyed chatting. Scott's been a great guest tonight, which I expected Scott to be a bit more quieter than you are on the radio, actually, Scott. So you've surprised me there.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Scott, I've learnt from Scott's knowledge. So, yeah, it's good talking to you, Scott.
Yeah, it's nice talking to you too.
And
we're not finished yet. We've got to talk about Kris is fine, yeah.
He's obviously really lucky as well. So I need to go hang out with Scott a little bit.
You need to rub his arm a little bit.
You're welcome up north anytime.
Thanks, buddy. See, there you go. That's the accommodating northerners. It's lovely.
I'd say you could pick me up on the way, but you'd go on the M1.
I'm going down south in a couple of days.
Where are you down south?
St Austell.
Oh, I don't know where that is.
That's
Where is
Cornwall.
that? That's Cornwall.
Cornwall.
You're the other side, bud. I'm the other side of the country down south. Literally
Right.
corner. Give us a shout if you're ever down here, though, and we'll go detecting. Yeah, just honestly, give me a shout, man. It won't be a
Yeah,
problem
definitely.
at all. I promise. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah,
You
the
won't
thing
miss
is,
him,
mate,
Kris. He's about 4 foot.
yeah, you've
No, I'm 5'2".
mentioned his size a couple of times now, so I'm guessing that.
He's in
But the thing
Panto,
is,
you know, at the minute.
Santa's little helper.
Grumpy.
the thing is, we've gone through all of these hordes and these amazing finds, and then we've come to mine, which is nowhere as near as cool as any of
Well, I think it is. I honestly
Well,
think
that's
it
because
is.
that's because you're coming from an archaeological point of view, aren't you? I think.
And Scott will be as just as excited because he's been privy to something more or less exactly the same.
Yeah,
So, and obviously, people who watch your videos, I've heard your excitement as well.
and it was exciting. Yeah. So basically, I'll try and condense everything. So in a nutshell, detecting. I'll talk to Scott because Scott doesn't know what's going on. So Scott,
I haven't got a clue.
I was detecting, mate, and a little bit of bronze come up, and I thought, oh, that's strange. Nice little bit of bronze. So that told me that if there's a bit of bronze coming up, I should probably stay in that area-ish. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I slowed down my sweep, stayed in this area, and then slowly more bits of bronze came up, and then patterned bronze, and then a bit of a sword came up, and then daggers, spears.
What?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
And then about 15 axe heads, and
Wow.
some of the axe heads were patterned with all of these beautiful like markings on which they'd never seen before. And it was amazing. Yeah, that's it. Very, very condensed. All of that went over like a few day period. And then the archaeologists come in, but we dug it all out because I thought there was a burial there.
Yep.
And then there was awls come up, AWL awls, what they used to tattoo people and things. They came up. I thought this is the weirdest thing, Scott. Right? So the archaeologists come in, but there was nothing else there. But we've dug the hoard up, which is a founder's hoard, which means that they're going to put it. It's like you said with the gold earlier. They're going to use it again at a later date. This is like the damaged things or the burnt things, or could have even been a sacrifice.
Yeah, basically like a scrapyard kind of thing. We'll save the precious metals.
That's right, but some of this stuff was in perfect nick. It was in really good condition. But yeah, that's basically what it was. Obviously, not good enough condition for them. This is the weirdest thing, man. Right, picture this in your head. So we've got all of this stuff was scattered. It's a scattered hoard, and then the axe heads were all clumped together. So that's the heart of the hoard, right? That's the main part of the hoard because they're all together. So I've dug all of that out, yeah, and then I've got it out, and we've dug down deeper, and there's another signal, Scott, beneath. Okay, so we're talking a Bronze Age hoard. So this is 4,000 years old. This hoard, right? So we've pulled this out in a clump, and we've released it to the side, and there's another signal beneath. What do you think that signal was?
Me personally, the way you're going on about it, it's going to be something modern, isn't it? Not as old as the axe heads.
Yeah, it was a hammered coin. It was a Lizzie penny.
Really?
Underneath a hoard of axe heads, man.
How the hell? How does that happen?
See, even the archaeologists were just like, what? None of us could figure it out. Because like the archaeology, I mean, you know how archaeologists work. I had this one more signal. Well, I had a few signals, and they were just bits of bronze. But this one signal, and I was like, there's something there, and it's a strong signal. And they're like, okay. So they were sweeping, digging. And then finally, he went, right, I've got whatever it is. And he pinged it up, and we could all see immediately that it was a coin. So I thought, well, it's a Bronze Age coin. Is there Bronze Age coins? Is it? But it looks silver. And he went, wow. And everyone went, ooh, at the same time. And then he picked up and he just kind of like scuffed it a little bit and went, it's a hammered. We were like, what?
My only judgment about that, what I think could have possibly happened, back in them days, like obviously when was it a Lizzie? Did you say yeah?
It was a Lizzie, mate. Yeah, Lizzie Penny.
Maybe back in them days, this is just my theory. Maybe somebody back then obviously found these axe heads, realised that he wasn't allowed to keep them no more, or whatever, and he's buried them on the field to go back to a later date. Obviously hasn't returned, and obviously by happening it, he's buried them on top of the coin.
Yeah, that could be. That's perfectly reasonable, man. Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable. Or the other thing is, my farmer does deep plough that field every now and again, so it could have just dropped down one of those massive deep ploughs, which can be 3 to 4 foot, you know. But I like that idea. I like your idea better. I like that idea. Yeah, that's
possibilities. But you know yourself, when you find something, your mind can just play games. Could have been this, could have been that, could have been this.
We don't know, man, do we?
That's it.
Know. So, so that's going through the process at the moment. It looks like it's going to be treasure. It's going to go into Folkestone Museum. I'm very, very proud. There's been a bit of negativity that's come after it. I don't know if you know about that, Dave.
No,
but
I
found a couple of Nighthawkers on the field.
You're joking.
That's shocking.
Yeah, one punched me in the face.
Luke did mention it actually, but I've not spoken to you since.
So basically, where I am, Scott, I'm right on the southeast corner, so I'm next to Dover Docks-ish, right?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of the European lorry drivers going on and coming off, going on, coming off, and what they're doing is they're just stopping at this truck stop, and they're just getting out of their lorries and going on the fields with their metal detectors, and they're doing
they shouldn't be doing that.
They shouldn't, and they're doing it everywhere down here. It's just prolific. So I've noticed this guy on my field. I thought it was my mate, because there's only 2 of us that got permission on this field. It's me and one other guy's a copper. So I thought, go say hello to Mike, and I've wandered all the way up, and it's not. It's this guy from the Czech Republic. And I've said, like, mate, you can't metal detect it. He's gone, he looked like he understood. So I said, my worry was, because he was right on my Hoards site. And I thought, if he digs anything up from the Hoards and he's just going to put it in his pockets, that's a split.
It's forever.
That's awful, isn't it? I think
sure.
It's difficult, man. It's really difficult. I think if the Hoard wasn't there, I'll just go, I can't be bothered to deal with this. I've got other stuff to get on with, and I'll tell my farmer that he's there. But because he was on the Hoard site, I was trying to get him away from it, because the idea of the Hoard being split from the museum was just, horrible.
It's the significance of the artifacts which are there, or what he takes away, isn't it?
That's it. So I managed to kind of communicate. I said, like, you've got to go. No, please. And he's like, okay. And he packed up his metal detector. I went off the field, went to my farmer, and I told him that I'd found this guy. And my farmer said, my farmer was gutted. My farmer's a really lovely bloke. And he was all gutted because he's really proud of this Hoard being on his land. And he was like, oh. And I was like, oh, God, he's not going to do anything. Anyway, so I went off, had to go see my mum. And I was driving off, and I thought, I'll go around the other side of the field. The field's massive, just to make sure he's gone. And he'd just moved to another part of the field.
Oh, no way.
Went to a completely different part of the field. I was like, oh, guys, I'm going to have to go on there and I've got all of it on video. I thought I'll stick the video on just in case. So I've got...
definitely. It covers your back, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I've gone back and I've gone like, mate, I know you know what you're doing. Get off of the field, right? Like, you're not... I didn't swear at him. I was polite. I was perfectly polite. I just a little bit more forceful. I said, get off of the field. You can't be here. And he was like, oh, okay then. And I said, look, you haven't even finished digging your holes in. Because he was just, he didn't even, filling your holes in. He didn't bother filling any of his holes.
Shocking.
Yeah, and then he started filling in his holes, and I felt really awkward because anyway, so I thought, look, I'll walk you off. I said, I'll walk you to your truck. And that's when things turned, because he obviously didn't want me to see his registration plate. We started walking. He was fine, and I was fine, And I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Oh, Czech Republic." I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "Are you truck driver?" He's like, "Yes, truck driver." And it was everything nice, and then just out of the blue, punched me full on in the face, man.
No way!
Bam! Yeah.
Bloody hell!
Split my lip, smashed my tooth a little bit. And if he'd got me in my jaw, he would have knocked me clean out. He would have knocked me clean out. But my kind of lip and my face took the brunt of it. Bam! Got me perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to hear about that. That is just totally shocking.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was shocking for him afterwards.
And that certainly tells people a tale that, things like this are going on in the UK and to keep an eye out.
Yeah, big time. That's it. Yeah, very, very, very much so. Yeah.
On your story of you getting assaulted there in Hoards and stuff like that, the way I look on it, you've got all these different groups. Like you've got No Full Time Detecting, you've got obviously Detectives UK and all this stuff, and all have group digs. All detectives should stick together and look after each other's land, or if they see other detectives on there, or there's too much bickering between groups. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, there is, and it's a shame, isn't it? It really is a shame.
Yeah, that's it. We should all stick together as one, and we could probably try and stop Hoards and stuff, get them to enjoy the hobby rather than hogging the hobby, or it's just it just bothers me.
But again, heritage crime, although they try to police heritage crime, it is how many times are these things that there was the gentleman a couple of years ago, was it last year, who actually got killed in an event. He had some of his stuff stolen and he passed away, sadly. Things like this do occur. As I mentioned at the start of the show, the night hawking up on Hadrian's Wall, the gentleman involved in the Viking treasure that was found, and obviously didn't go through any treasure trove. It's an ongoing issue, sadly. The person I go metal detecting with, he found a Staffordshire hoard, 14 coins in Staffordshire, and he took a person with him on this site, a friend of his, he thought. Anyway, this person found several of these coins, so my friend spoke to Vanessa Oakton, who was our FLO at the time, and discussed it with her, and she said, is there any more? He went, yeah, so-and-so's, he's got some as well. Have you got his number? I'll give him a ring. Did so. Don't know what you're on about. Never even heard of that person. So, it even goes as far as that. It really does.
I think it comes down to, it's such a complicated thing. So many factors to this. We shouldn't get into this now, I don't think.
No, we should end on a high, because at the end of the day, 2019 has been a fantastic year for metal detecting. It's been so many good things have happened. So many people should be applauded for what they do. Yeah, so many people around the UK are raising money for charity. UK History Hunters yesterday found a scattered Roman hoard. The event was fully in aid of charity. It's happening all the time.
This has been my favourite year metal detecting. I've loved it, and I've fallen even deeper in love with metal detecting. It's just been great, and the community has been brilliant, and YouTube has been brilliant. And I've met Scotty now, and there's another guy who sounds like an awesome dude. I'm just so privileged. It's been a great year, man. It really has.
It's been a privilege of meeting you and some other nice folks as well. For instance, Dave, I've just met you this year.
Yeah, for the first time, we met each other at the Rodney Cook Memorial, and then again the week after at Detectable. Yeah.
Yes,
but
cool.
We've been speaking for years.
Absolutely, and it's great.
Yeah,
the likes of these big events, these metal detecting events that do take place, Detectable, Spring Detectable, Rodney Cook Memorial, as well as anything else. It's all about community. It's the time when you can actually meet up with people. Last year, 2018, me and you met, and I told you my "want to buy a chicken" joke. we met for the first time. We've communicated thereafter. I didn't meet Luke personally, who he runs the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. He does the podcast with me. We never physically met until Detectable last year, the same day I met you. So,
really?
Honestly,
because I never knew that.
He lives all the way down south. I live all the way up here. We were completely...
I thought you were mates for years.
Same. I thought the same.
We've been 3.5 years we've been friends, but we never actually met until last year. And now we've met, 3 times this year. We were at the NCMD meeting Detectival, Rodney Cook Memorial. We're on the phone speaking verbally. Too much, according to my wife.
Amazing.
But hey, I've made a lifelong friend. Made a hell of a lot of lifelong friends in the subject. I really have.
Yeah, same, man.
Same. I have.
Been great.
Amazing,
So,
yeah.
On that note, I'd like to thank you both for putting yourself out tonight in this festive period. And Scotty's actually had to install Skype tonight because I couldn't suss how to do Facebook Messenger on the podcast. So thank you,
And I don't know how
Scott.
to use Skype.
And as it's the end of the year, there are numerous people to give mention to. Obviously, people who don't know, there are a Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website, archmdmag.com, Facebook page, Twitter and Instagram, the All Metal Mode UK and Big Metal Detecting Podcast Facebook page. A big shout out to Leisure Promotions, to Treasure Hunting Magazine, Ragdon's, Norfolk Time Metal Detecting Club, South Coast Detecting, Aaron Weedle, Metal Detecting Media, South East Metal Detecting Rallies, that's Luke and Niles' baby, Steve Pettican, The Debays, Find a Field, Tony Kaywood, who's now admin on the Big Metal Detecting Podcast Facebook group, and of course to Gary Cook, to Gary Blackwell, to Mark Betcher and Metal Detectives. Thank you each and every one for all your support and everything you've done this year. We do have some massive news coming in the coming weeks. We have Gary Cook coming on a show to discuss what's happening with the Rodney Cook Memorial next year. Myself and Luke, we've got a few things to iron out, and we'll be able to disclose a massive entity who are coming on board with the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine printed editions, which I'm hoping both our guests tonight will continue to write for that, as they have done in the past.
Yep.
If you need to.
Of course, dude. I can't wait to read the rest of that story that we published for you in the last one.
Thanks,
Dave?
Dad.
What?
Since you're mentioning people, is it okay if I just mention a couple of people from who found the Hoards on me dig?
No.
No.
Of course it is.
I would just like to say, obviously, thank you to Mark Middleton. He was the one who found the Rowan Hoard at Bellingham with his dad. Obviously, Andrew Winter, who's the admin, if not for the time detecting, who was part of the Hoard at Detectiveville. Also, Terence White, he was one who found the original part of the the Bronze Age sword. And myself, obviously, for finding the other half of the sword. That's about it.
One of my biggest shout-outs for this show, it's got to be to Aaron Weedle, who was a guest last week. Aaron's produced quite a lot of in fact, more or less most of our jingles and intros and outros, etc. So, obviously...
Santa Claus last week.
No, don't say that to the children. But obviously, a big thank you for him for doing that. So, we've got a lot of things happening this year. Kris, what's next for you in 2020? Oh, it's 2020 next year? Wow.
Yeah, just going to carry on doing what I'm doing with the YouTube thing, but I've also been knocked up for the old TV again, mate.
Same programme?
No, another programme, but we'll talk about that another day.
I look forward to it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Scotty, Detecticon, let's look out for that in 2020.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, put them dates in your book, the 24th to the 26th of July, 2020.
Right, I'd love to get there. I'm going to do my best, definitely. It'd be great to meet you as well, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it's camping, live bands, you name it, it'll be there.
And all the information on that will be on North of Time Metal Detecting Club on Facebook, and obviously we will promote it via the podcast and the magazine also. So you'll get any information you need that way.
Great.
Hey, look, we're more or less bang on an hour and a half. How's that for timing?
Perfect. That's brilliant.
Gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you all for listening, all the new listeners that have been coming through the last couple of weeks and throughout the entire year. Thank you for your support. Have a great New Year's Eve, and we'll speak to you on January the 2nd with our guest, Mr. John Bradbury of John's detecting adventures on YouTube. So again, thank you both. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers,
Chris,
guys.
don't forget to listen
Cheers,
to the
yeah.
last 30 seconds of this episode because it's got the Seascope song by the legendary 10 Seconds. Good night,
Okay.
gents.
See you later, guys.
Good night. See you
Good night.
later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
My dad's Scope 600, oh what a memory. Metal detecting archaeology. When my dad passed away, it was passed to me. My dad's Scope 600, oh what a memory. When my dad passed away, it was passed to me.